how to light fashion photography. In this video, I'll break down some tips and tricks I have when shooting fashion photography, showcasing some behind the scenes footage from a recent shoot I had with a model agency, and I will also discuss my inspiration, the styling, the camera setting, and of course, my thought process when it comes to lighting. I'll also break down one of my most common beauty setups I use every time I shoot beauty photography later on in the video. If you're a subscriber, you're probably wondering where I am. I recently moved into a new house, so I'm in the process of getting my home office set up. Also, if you notice my voice is a little off, I got sick, I got my wife sick, I got my kids sick, and now I am slowly feeling better, but my voice is still kind of gone. Now let's talk about inspiration. The first look I had when it came to this photo shoot, my inspiration for this shoot was elegance, prep school, high society. Styling, I was thinking a blazer with buttons, a white plaid skirt with gold accents, a white blouse, this really cool lace hat that I found off of Amazon, and it made the whole look, outfit come together. When it came to the lighting, we used 4 lights. We used a Forza 500 for the key light, set to 100% most likely to get the max output. We used a Godox light mat, rigged above the talent to add a little fill to the hair and the face. This also served as a backlight because it was placed a little bit towards the back of the model. Camera settings, I was shooting on the Canon R6 with the 24-70 Sigma art lens and a 100mm macro lens from Canon, shooting at a most likely around f8 because of the sharpness and the clarity of both of those lenses. For the background, I used an Amaran 300C and an Amityville 80-watt light. This ensured that we had a really bright background. I recently picked up another Amaran 300C, so when I light backgrounds, it can be more consistent. Also, I like the idea of having color RGB lights, having them be the same on both sides, so I get that color fidelity. This gave me a lot of output, but I was using continuous lighting instead of strobes, so I had to push my ISO in the camera to compensate. And I really love the way these images turned out. These were exactly what I envisioned when I was thinking of this photo shoot, when I was developing the mood board. I really wanted that elegant look, and I think the model Jackie did an awesome job, and I loved how the images turned out. The second look I did on this day was with this wonderful model named Avery. She was amazing. She was great energy. I wanted to create a gradient when it came to the background. Lately, I've been into the idea of imperfect backgrounds, having different light intensities and colors hitting the background. We used 4 lights, just like the first setup. The Forza 500 as a beauty dish, as the key light, and the Amaran 300C shooting a orange warm light towards the background. I matched that with the Amityville RGB light, and I added a Godox light mat to the top as a top light, but I also had it spilling on the background because I really wanted like warm light coming from both angles and then like a bluish, daylight coming from the top. I thought that would be really cool. We played around with different light intensities when it came to the light output, and at one point I even swung the beauty dish like away from the background, so the light was hitting just the model and having everything kind of fall off into the shadow. I love how these images turned out. Now, one of the most common beauty lighting setups you're gonna see on a lot of different photo shoots is a clamshell lighting setup. Basically, the best way to look at this is you have a light that's completely straight on overhead on pretty much above the camera, and a light underneath. Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily a light underneath. A lot of times you can achieve this with a beauty dish and a bounce underneath, softbox and a bounce underneath, Or you can get fancy and have 2 different lights and 2 different light sources, one on top and one below. A reason why this is such a staple when it comes to beauty and fashion photography is not only does it fill in the shadows, but it also creates a even less shadowy, soft, less contrasty light to the face, which is great, and it a lot of times gives it more of a clean look. If you're ever in a situation where you need to shoot beauty, try using a clamshell lighting technique, and I think you'll get some really good results. The third look was all about color matching the outfit to the background. I like the idea of the background and the wardrobe matching. The lighting was pretty much the same with the Forza as the key light and the 2 RGB lights blasting the background. So we have this model in a purple dress, which I matched with the RGB lights that were pointing towards the background. The Amaran 300C has a function that you can scan color and try to match it. I love that functionality so much that I even picked up another Amaran 300C just so I could do that, because it's starting to be one of my favorite lights. For this look, I was trying to do something more cute and playful. The model did an amazing job, and I think we got some really fun looks here. The final look was a brighter image. We wanted something more clean and minimal, bright but not too high key. We used the same lighting setup. Pretty much the whole day we were using a variation of the same lighting setup. The only main difference is we had both background lights set to cooler temperatures, think 6,500, 7,000 Kelvin. I wanted it to be cooler with the background, and then I wanted to keep the key light a little bit more warmer, so I kept the key light at like 5,600 Kelvin to keep that skin tone a little bit more warmer. For the wardrobe, we had the model wear this awesome see-through colorful dress. I think the blue tones of the dress fit the blue tones I had with the mixed lighting and the color tones that I was adding into the image. And I just really liked the way that turned out. And I love shooting just like white, clean background photography. Something about it just helps the model just stand out. And, you know, I'm really loving that look moving forward. Now, this whole shoot was done at my photography studio, Sage Studios, in the Arts District of downtown Los Angeles. Let me know if you want to book our studio. The information is in the description below. I'm having a blast shooting at my own studio. So that's all I have to say about how I lit my recent fashion photography shoot. If you have any questions about photography or videography, hit me up in the comment sections below, and I will see you next time. Peace.